All right, CST 105, exercise 4. We were prompted to write a program that takes contributions from an input file and writes them to an output file. Some challenges. This was a little bit more outside studying that I needed to do in order to kind of discover some things that we could do within certain packages. Kind of tricky where I felt like some of the examples that were utilizing arrays kind of steered me just from the prompt away from that, but eventually kind of tethered everything together and was able to utilize some of the different concepts that we were doing in the exercises to build this, which I felt like kind of took everything. So definitely was able to learn some things. It was nice. Imported a java.io package as well as a java.utility.arraylist package. Established my class, established my main, which was the next step. Created an array list to store the numbers read from the input file because I ran into some problems with organizing the input file originally, thinking that I could just write all the numbers in one line, then had some string exceptions that were thrown. So I kind of went to the idea of circling back to that example so I could figure out how to use an array. Established my initialized variables at the beginning so that I would be able to discover largest and smallest numbers and total. New thing I learned as well from that .io package, where I started to learn that buffer reader is something that you can use to kind of read different types of data and just ensure that you're not going to run into those issues. I also learned about try and catch boxes, which help to organize your exceptions that are thrown in case you can't get those files to open. So created a file reader, buffer reader, file writer, buffer writer, then started with a string that allowed me to basically parse through each line of the input file. From there, within that loop, I was able to check to see what the largest and smallest numbers that were within that file and get an iteration of how many were entered total. I then utilized a writer to write to that number as well as to write to the new line within the output program. So then I went and checked to see where we were at as far as total comparisons to 10 million, and then started my system.out print lines. After each output line, I wrote to the results, so that way we were able to display and record our results. Wrote various different inputs and outputs inputs I should say, within the file, and then closed all of our readers and writers and threw a catch just in case there was an exception that happened. So anyways, here's my code. Awesome. Yay, cool. Run. Output configured to the way that we need it to be. Input file, result file. Sweet.